G'day and welcome to episode 54 of the Guy Who Sews podcast. My name is Sean and this is my weekly podcast where I share my quilting adventures. I'd like to welcome both new and returning viewers to the podcast, but if you are new, I would love it if you take just a few moments to say hi in the comments so we all know we have a new friend. Where possible, any channels, products, or patterns that I mention, I'll put in the description below, but if you need additional assistance, please reach out. I'm always more than happy to help. But let's go ahead and get started with my works in progress. So the first one I want to show you is actually a completed quilt top, and I actually started quilting it yesterday, and I am really happy with this. I started doing some ruler work, which is something that's fairly new to me. I did some horizontal lines here, nice indents, and then I did some leaf designs here on the pink. It's a little hard to see. And then afterwards, after I did my life, I went ahead and did some circles on the outside. I started with some smaller ones, and then I decided the bigger ones were better. And I'm really happy with how that's turning out. So I'm about a third of the way through the exterior. I've done all the pink and the interior here. I'm really happy with this and I'm hoping to show you some more progress at very soon. And then last week, if you watched episode 53, you would have seen the first block of the Sew Place Like Home, which is a quilt along by Art East Quilt Company. And it's based on The Wizard of Oz, which is one of my favorite movies. And this week, I went ahead and did the second block, which was actually Tin Man. And I actually was naughty and kind of changed it up a little bit. They called for a very light grey to be the body of the Tin Man, and then the Kona Sheen, which is a very sparkly fabric, to be the highlight, like on his hat and his chin and so forth. And I thought, why not use the sheen to be his body so it looks more like it was in the movie? So this is what I did, and I think it turned out really nicely with the sheens. This color here is what was meant to be the body. And so I think making that change was really neat. And he looks like this because he is sitting down, and that's how the block was made. So let me know what you think of this block. I think it looks really good. The heart is also a sheen, and I just think it really turned out so nicely. So I'd like to do another one of these blocks next week, and I would like you guys to decide which one I'm going to do next. Would you like to see the lion, the cowardly lion, or the scarecrow? Let me know in the comments, and whichever one you guys choose in the next couple of days will probably be the one that I pick. So now let's move on to our week in review. If you're new, this is just basically a series of clips that I put together during the week, mostly of me sewing, but also some of our adventures outside the house, so I hope you enjoy. So last week I asked everybody what your favorite memory of 2022 was, and I really loved listening or reading everybody's comments. It's always a joy for me to read the comments and answer them as quickly as I can. So this week, since we are doing January and we always talk about resolutions and goals and that sort of thing there, is I'd love to hear what are your quilting goals for this year. Be as broad or as specific as you like. I always love to hear what you guys do because it may give me inspiration to do some of this stuff as well. So let me know in the comments what your goals are for this year. Now it's time to talk about my goals for the week, and basically very similar to last week. I'd love to get one of the mythical darkson blocks done. I say that every week, and one of these weeks I'm going to get it done. Will it be this week? Stay tuned next week to find out. I'd also like to get another one of the So Place Like Home, which is the Wizard of Oz blocks done, if at all possible, and then also finish the quilting on the breast cancer awareness ribbon as well. Let me know in the comments what your goals are for this week. So in case you missed it, I did have one video come out yesterday, which was my Record with the Guy Who Sews, and I did some ruler work, some quilting ruler work on the breast cancer awareness that I showed you a little earlier in the podcast. And I used some of the rulers that I purchased last year at the quilt show because it's something new to me. I've only used them once or twice, and this was the street one, and then this was the curvy one that I used for the leaf shape. And it was a lot of fun to just experiment and play and kind of learn as I went along and take everyone along for the ride. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely do so. And I got some comments and some encouragement to do some videos on this, so I'm going to do some tutorials and that sort of thing there on ruler work in the very near future, so stay tuned for that. So upcoming videos, this Wednesday I'm going to put out my 2022 recap, which is going to be a fun video just going over everything that I made last year, which was actually quite a lot. So you don't want to miss that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then this Saturday I'm going to have a special guest on my Breaking with the Guy Who Sews. It's going to be Susan from the Hot Mess Quilter. She is a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to having her join me, and she's going to bring on some of her favorite quilts that her and her grandmother made, and is going to share the story behind those. So I'm really looking forward to having her with me and sharing those stories with me. And speaking of quilt shows, last month, as many of you know, I had a huge collab with 21 other content creators, and we did some voting on which quilts were the favorites. And I went through and checked the results, and for the favorite quilt, Erica from Little Glass Quilts, who had that beautiful quilt that her and her mother made for the Air Force, came out as #1. Beth from Goody Goods was also very highly rated as a favorite, along with Mark from the Quilting Marine. And then in second place, we had a couple more gentlemen. Dave from Dave's Craft Room was very highly rated as a second favorite, along with Kendall Taylor with his beautiful purple quilt as well. And then Beth was also highly rated as a second favorite. So Beth did excellent on this. And then third place was Stephanie from Stephanie Stitches and Becca from Sew Becca, and they all had such beautiful quilts. I do have much more detailed results that I'm going to go through and use to plan future events, and I just love everybody's responses, all the feedback that I got from that, because it's going to be very valuable for my next adventure. It's only about 4 weeks before the Cotton Cuts Village Green Puzzle Mishra quilt goes out. Remember, I did this one last year, which was the So Sweet. And if you haven't signed up, now's a great time to do so. And if you do, please use my code, which is Sean Village. I'll put it on the text and also in the description below, because if you do, you get a special little gift, and so do I. So it's a win-win for everybody. And I'll be doing it along with you. I'm going to be doing the lavender colorway, which is a series of purples. I'm very excited to do that because it's going to be something totally different to what I normally do. So definitely join me in on that if you can. So I'm very excited to show you a completed quilt top. And it was one of my goals that I wanted to finish last year was all the quilt kits that I purchased in previous years. And I missed that goal by a matter of 12 hours. So close enough, right? Let me know. Is that close enough? Did I finish the goal even though I'm like just a few hours late? So anyway, this is just a recap of the colors we used in previous rows. And then this was the final row, which is a very dark burgundy and some really bright reds. So I'm going to put a picture up here of the completed quilt top because it's massive. It's definitely twin size, if not a little bit bigger. And I'm looking forward to quilting it and probably going to use it within the house here on one of the spare beds. So I'm very excited that all my quilt kits are done. I can actually now move on to some other projects that haven't been sitting around here for 5 years. Have you had any long dwelling projects and have you been able to get them done? Let me know in the comments. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, definitely hit the like button. Leave me a comment. I always love hearing from my viewers. And we'll see you on the next video, which will be Wednesday, which is my 2022 recap. I hope you all have a great week. Happy sewing, and we'll see you next video. Bye.